This is an apple mango tree that my mom planted before I was born, and I love the fruits that it bears because for me, they are the sweetest mangoes that we have. So this is my subject for my next series of paintings that I'm gonna show you in this video. I'm gonna paint these apple mangoes in 3 ways: oil pastel, watercolor, and acrylics. By the way, I'm Rema and welcome to my art space where I show you some of my artworks and the process on how I make them.
The first painting was made with oil pastels. The brand I used in this work was Mungyo, which was from South Korea. Instead of a pencil, I used a flesh-colored pastel to make the draft of the apple mangoes in the basket. Pencils would have the tendency to smudge on paper when the oil pastel is applied. When I color a still life subject, I usually start with the lightest color and follow it with darker colors. So for each mango, I started with yellow, yellow-orange, orange, red, then violet and brown. I rarely use black unless it's needed. The basket was the hardest part because of its small details. I had to paint ochre first for the general base color before adding more details and shades. I must admit I was looking forward to the background because it was easy. I thought I should use blue as a complementary yet contrasting color for the yellow mangoes to make them stand out. It took me 3 hours to finish this painting. On the next day, I painted apple mangoes in watercolor using this Pebeo brand set. Using a pencil to sketch the draft is okay for watercolor paintings as long as it is made of graphite and you sketch it lightly. The painting process for this was almost similar to what I did with the oil pastel painting, but the difference was that I initially painted base colors for the subject and the background before adding details. Another difference in this process was that I took more care in adding the black spots on the mangoes, something that a paintbrush or a pencil can achieve. I wanted to make my mangoes as real as they were. These black spots were naturally part of the mangoes as they ripen. For me, they showed that no pesticides or chemicals were used to nurture them. I carefully added details on the basket, incorporating woven lines before blending and softening these dark lines with similarly dark tones. I was tempted to paint the basket as a plain object, but it would not be fair to the basket, which had been holding the mangoes for days. The working time for this watercolor painting was shorter than that of the oil pastel painting because it only took me 2 hours to finish this. This is a fresh batch of apple mangoes. There were not as many as the previous batch, so I set it up in a way where all the apple mangoes were seen. But in this still life painting, this included a papaya. I had previously wanted to paint the previous batch as an acrylic painting, but I put it off for about 2 weeks. I was hoping to get more in my next batch, but the fruits have become fewer as the Philippines entered the rainy season. This study was the most complex compared to the previous ones because the blue cloth added to the complexity. It took me 2 days to finish this work, focusing on the cloth and the background during the first day. Whenever I make acrylic paintings, I painted the background first because acrylic paints can be covered by fresh layers when they dry. I woke up early on the next day to continue my acrylic painting. I usually have a hard time rising up early because I'm technically an owl, but I had to finish this as soon as possible. The trouble with painting live fruits is that the artist has to capture them while they are still in good condition. These apple mangoes from our tree get ripe quickly. Now this new batch I was working on was slowly becoming yellow. Besides, when they become ripe, I can't wait to eat them because they are really delicious. This is one of my favorite fruits. Aside from being sweet on the palate, apple mangoes also hold a lot of sweet memories for me. My favorite part of this work was painting the mangoes. I wanted to make it as real as they were by adding black spots and blending the green, yellow, and red tones. This work amounted to 4 hours, 2 hours from the previous day and another 2 hours from the second day. It was sure tiring, but I was happy with how it turned out.
These were the results of my artworks last month. But among these artworks, for me, my favorite is this oil pastel one. The first one that I made. They're not as realistic compared to the other two. But I don't know, I find this very satisfactory. I think that I should put this in a frame. What you think? And if I put this in a frame, I'm gonna put this in our kitchen once we renovate our kitchen. Hopefully, we get it renovated soon. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and tell me in the comments which of the works or which of the paintings that you like best. So, I'd like to say thank you. Again, my name is Rema. And thank you very much for joining me in my art space. And if you do like this video, please click the like button. And also, if you're here in my channel for the first time and you'd like to see more of my works, more of my, even I also have travel videos, please subscribe. And also click the bell button so you'd be notified of future videos from me. Again, my name is Rema and thank you very much for joining me in my art space. And I hope to see you again in the next. Bye! One. So, they look so fresh and yellow. My gosh, there's a dog outside. Okay, I'm back. No more dog. This is an apple mango tree and actually I love the fruits that it bears. This is an apple mango tree. I love these fruits because for me, they're the sweetest mangoes that we have. And I love the fruits that it bears because this is the sweetest mangoes that... This is so noisy, my God.